Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I discovered this new, well, he's not very new, but he's new to me. His name is Robert Welsh here on YouTube, and he's actually a makeup artist. So I've been watching quite a few of his videos, and he has a lot of tips. So the other day I came across this video that he made where he was kind of giving tips. Mainly most of his videos are like, he kind of reacts to YouTubers makeup, and he kind of points out what he wouldn't do for whatever reason, kind of more on a makeup artist kind of perspective, not so much as like an influencer, because most of the people here on YouTube, like most of the beauty influencers, they kind of learn makeup on their own, like they didn't actually go to school for it. Obviously that's just me saying most of them, but like some of them do have a little bit of background in makeup school or whatever. Like for example, for myself, I kind of just learned kind of on my own, experimenting, watching videos, and that's kind of the same for most of the YouTubers on here who do makeup. I found it quite interesting because he has a lot of he has a different input in terms of makeup, and today I wanted to kind of just follow some of his tips. I watched the video which I'll link down below, the one that I'm kind of like following through, and I'll sort of explain why I'm doing things and how he kind of makes it a little bit different than your regular YouTuber that you might be watching for makeup tutorials, right? Another thing that I really like about him is like he doesn't only does those kind of videos, he also has like some where he reacts to like beauty gurus makeups. I think it's like it's funny because I feel like I can relate to him, like just the way he feels about some of these girls or guys makeup. Like he thinks it's overboard and it's not needed, and I kind of feel the same way, but that's besides the point. So yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have not subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do that. Give it a like if you like the video, and also if you like Robert Welsh, I'll leave his channel down below as I said, so you can check him out. I think he's like super funny, and he also reminds me of like what's his name, Lucifer from the Netflix show. If you have not seen it, I definitely recommend to see it, like for you to see it, because it's like super funny. But anyways, let's just get started. I don't even know how I came across, I think he came up on my YouTube page on like the popular or like kind of related kind of YouTubers. Some of them sometimes pop up, so he kind of popped up, and I had seen him a couple times, but I've never really like looked into his channel until I think I came across a video of him like reacting to Jaclyn Hill's makeup, and so I clicked on that, and since then I just started watching most of his makeup artist reacts to like so and so YouTuber's makeup, and since then I've been really liking it. I feel like he has like he's very funny, but he's also very like straight up. Like he'll tell you guys, this person shouldn't be doing that because like there's literally no point. Like why are you adding 3 layers of foundation, like you don't need it, that type of thing. So I really enjoy his videos. I think he's like super funny as well, and he reminds me a lot of the guy from Lucifer. Like I feel like he's exactly the same. I don't know, since the first time that I watched him, he just like he came up in my head. Like I was like, oh my god, this guy's like literally like Lucifer. But I don't know, do you guys see it a little bit? I think it might be because of his like English accent, I don't know. But anyways, in his video that I watched, he basically kind of showed his everyday kind of routine, and he gave some tips as well. So I'm gonna be doing the same. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of foundation. I'm gonna be using the Healthy Foundation by Physicians Formula. This is literally one of my go-tos, my favorite, because it's like a very kind of lightweight foundation. It's not like super full coverage or anything like that. It's actually like I would say like a light to medium. You can definitely build it up in certain areas, but it's definitely not a full coverage. And he kind of does the same thing where he kind of goes in with more of a lighter kind of coverage foundation, because he doesn't like the appearance of like too much makeup. Again, I feel like there's such a difference in between makeup artists and then like your typical YouTuber showing makeup. He points out throughout his video, you know, there's such a big difference in between, you know, doing makeup for like, you know, artificial lighting where you're gonna have a lot of lights, and then there's a difference when you're gonna be doing makeup to like go outside into the real world, you know. So you definitely want to know kind of like the difference, because sometimes especially I feel like if you're young, you can get fooled into like, you know, oh, you need to apply like 3 layers of concealer underneath your eyes. That's just me being, you know, exaggerated. But if you do that and then you go outside, it's not gonna look that good, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyways, let's go with foundation. I'm just gonna kind of go through and talk at the same time, or else we're gonna be here for like hours. So I took a little bit of foundation there. I'm just gonna use a little stippling brush with that, and I'm kind of going into the product and just applying that all over the face, but in a very like light layer. Like I'm not applying a lot of foundation. And you guys saw that I didn't apply much on the back of my hand, because if you apply too much, you will have the tendency to like, you know, apply all of it on your face. So start with little and then add more if you need to, but always start with less and then keep on adding. We want to keep the face looking nice and pretty. We don't want it to look caked up or anything. And for the most part, I mean my face it's not like the most perfect face, but I mean I don't think it's doing too bad. I do have a couple spots here and there, but that we can cover up with concealer. So if you are gonna be applying foundation that's a little bit more of a full coverage, use light layers. And again, if you need, you know, to cover up certain spots, just use concealer. Don't apply foundation all over your face like 3 times if you don't need it. Just apply it like with 1 layer at first, and then if you need coverage, just kind of spot conceal with those. So once I have that, you guys can see my skin is a little bit more evened out. I still have some redness, I still have some spots, that's okay. We're gonna move into concealer. So we're gonna use this self-hydrating camo concealer. I've been using this one's in the shade light beige, and basically what he does with the concealer is a little bit different than what you would normally see here on YouTube. Most of the people here on YouTube literally will draw a triangle of concealer, and even I try not to do that because it's too much product that's not really needed. And then another thing that I don't get is like most of them will go in with a sponge or a brush, and most of that product will just get into the brush, so there's really no point into applying that much product. He basically, you know, points out the same thing. So what he does is he basically brings the concealer. I am gonna use the little thing with it, and he basically takes this, he puts 2 dots right here, so right in the inner area where you have most of the darkness and most of the blood just kind of sits there. And also he applies like a little bit on the outer corner of the eye. So there you guys can see it. I'm not applying it here, I'm basically just applying it in those 2 spots where you have most of the dark. He basically applies it in those areas, and then he takes a brush. I'm just gonna use a small little brush because he also points out, you know, use a small brush where you can be precise with the product so that you don't kind of drag it all over. And I've been really liking this because I feel like it really just applies the product where it's needed, and it conceals, but it doesn't look like overdone, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and just blend that out. I usually start with patting. I'm just kind of following what he said in his video. So he usually starts with patting most of that product in. He brings it aside on the sides of his nose to kind of, you know, make it a little bit smaller, and to also even out any redness or anything around there. Brings it into the inner corner. That's usually where you have some of the darkness as well, so you definitely want to bring it in there. And then once most of the product is nice and blended, he takes the brush and he just kind of runs it along right here. So you guys can see that I'm just taking whatever's like excess onto the brush, and then I'm blending that underneath there, and then I'm taking my finger and just kind of patting that in. to the spot. And like, you can use this kind of tip with any kind of concealer. Like, this concealer is more full coverage concealer, but you guys can see the difference right there. I just got rid of the darkness where it's mainly at, so like right here in this area and right here, and then you guys can totally see the difference, but it doesn't look, you know, like there's too much product underneath of the eye. It's not gonna crease because you don't have like product sitting here, which is mainly where you have creases. So yeah, let's do the same thing on the other eye. He also talks about color correcting. Like, if you do need to color correct, don't over apply the product. Like, you don't need it to look orange underneath or green. As long as you have a light layer that'll help color correct, which is what you need it for, just apply a very light layer, kind of let it sit, and then apply concealer on top. You don't need it to be like, you know, like you have orange like everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, same thing. It's a very just like light layers of product that will make a difference, but it won't look caked up. I'm just gonna use that same concealer to spot conceal, just using a very light amount. Like, again, you don't need a lot to cover, so I'm just gonna take that, pretty much cover all of these little red spots that I have on my face, which are really annoying. I'm gonna take some right here as well. So I feel like it's quite red there. I'll begin by blending these in. I'm actually gonna use that a bigger brush for this area, just so I can kind of spread it out and even it out right here. You definitely want to use like a color that is close to your skin tone, especially if you're gonna be, you know, concealing any spots or anything like that. You don't want to go in with like a super light color, because it's gonna point them out instead of, you know, covering them up. So yeah, just make sure you do that. So that's how your face should be looking like so far. Oh my god, I totally forgot, but he actually goes in with a highlighter underneath his like foundation and everything. I didn't do that because this foundation is already quite like glowy, and I have combination to oily skin, so I didn't really want to do that. But we are gonna apply a little bit of liquid highlighter. I'm gonna use this Essence Make Me Glow liquid highlighter, and I really like this one. It's a really nice kind of lightweight kind of formula. You definitely want to kind of work fast with it though, because if not, it kind of dries out. So I'm just gonna take a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm taking my ring finger, and I'm just gonna apply that right where the light naturally hits my face. So just kind of take a look at your face and see where the light, you know, naturally bounces off, and that's where you want to apply the highlight. So for me, it's like right there. I'm gonna apply some right here on the nose, right here, and I won't apply any on my forehead, but that's just like preference. If you guys do like to apply on your forehead, go ahead, just not going to. Okay, I'm just kind of checking where the light hits, and the reason why I do that is because like everybody has different face shapes. So if you apply the highlighter where everybody does, it's probably not gonna look right, you know, because it's not blending in with your face. So like, you just want to kind of take a look at that and then go from there. So that's how your face should be looking like. We are gonna use a little bit of powder just to set kind of the T-zone. So, but actually before I do that, I'm gonna use a little bit of liquid bronzer. I'm gonna use this one by Physicians Formula. This is usually the one that I use when I'm applying liquid bronzer. So I'm just gonna use that with a brush, and I'm basically going in like that, but actually I'm gonna take some on the back of my hand to kind of blend it in, to warm it up as well, because this product can be a little bit stiff, and sometimes the brush won't pick up as much. And same thing with this, I'm applying a very light layer. I'm not gonna be applying too much, but I'm just gonna basically apply it to give my face a little bit of shape, a little bit of color. This one is definitely like warmer, so for that reason I'm not really using it as a contour. I'm using it more so as a bronzer. So I'm just kind of placing that right in this outer part and then bringing it up. Taking some of the jawline. And yeah, I think that's good. Again, a very light amount because we don't want to look like too much, just to, you know, add a little bit of definition, but nothing crazy. I'm gonna use a little bit of powder. He actually is kind of very negligent about like baking or anything like that. He says it's not necessary, and I mean, I agree, unless you're going for a very glam kind of look and you definitely want to like brighten underneath of the eyes or whatever, you can definitely add a little bit more powder, but you definitely don't need to apply like, you know, pounds and pounds of powder. So I'm gonna use this one. This is the Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder, and I'm just gonna use this basically to set my T-zone. I'm just gonna take this right on there, tapping off the excess, and then he basically powders in his T-zone because he does get oily there as well. So I'm gonna do the same thing. And I'm just doing kind of patting motions so that I don't move everything that's underneath. It doesn't really apply blush or anything like that, so that's why I'm keeping it pretty much there. But yeah, guys, those are pretty much his like top tips for makeup application. This is kind of how he does his everyday face, and you guys can see that it's very like natural, very low-key. You can definitely tell that I'm wearing makeup, but it doesn't look like overdone, which I feel like most of the time we can tend to do that here on YouTube. Like, we just kind of go ham on it because we have, you know, either artificial lighting or whatever. But I can tell you guys that, you know, a lot of makeup doesn't look good like in real life or in person sometimes. So yeah, just kind of do light layers, apply depending on your face shape. Don't follow everything that you see on videos because everybody is different things to them. So yeah, that's it for this video. Again, I do recommend you checking out his videos. He has some really good tips if you really want to learn more about makeup application and just in general. Like, he's a really nice kind of guy on YouTube. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do an eyeshadow look real quick, and maybe I'll film that as well. But yeah, hope you have a good one. Stay safe, stay indoors, you know, try to do your part so that we can move along from this, and have a good one. Bye.